Transportation planning is crucial anywhere in the world because it serves the area economically, socially, and improves quality of life for the people.
One of which is the seaport, which has important interfaces in the supply chain between sea and land transportation, and a component of freight distribution as the entrance of produce, merchandise, and passengers to a country, but as well as the exit door to all exports to the international market.
The purpose of transportation planning is focusing on what's the most efficient movement for people and goods around the country and the world.
Here in the Philippines, we have a number of ports. After all, we are surrounded by bodies of water, and one of which is the Batangas International Port.
Now, with the task to rethink and redesign our transportation systems, Atelier A redesigns the Batangas International Port with innovation, inclusion, and resiliency in mind.
Dagasa is designed and conceptualized as a seaport terminal, which prioritizes movement in design, focusing on how it can blur the boundaries between the sea and the city.
This new seaport will serve as a multifunctional space, promoting the culture in the area, while it will also cater various activities for the public. The project's key goal is to develop the existing terminal, considering its efficiency and the overall design and planning aspects.
Batangas International Port is located in Barangay Santa Clara, Batangas City, which has a total area of 252,027 square meters. The existing location has wide access to different islands and provinces, particularly in the Calabarzon region of the Philippines.
Site analysis is conducted to further understand the characteristics and charms of the site. This helps the designers to further understand and program the activities in and out of the structure with efficient movement of people and cargo in mind.
The site is easily accessible from the major roads such as the National Highway Road and Diversion Road, which are both conveniently linked to the Star Tollway, being the main access road from Metro Manila and other South Luzon provinces, leading directly to the port area.
It also has wide access to a variety of spaces wherein it is bounded with mostly residential properties and commercial spaces, and are also near 7 local landmarks in the area.
The site traffic is also plotted, focusing on the pedestrian, cargo, and vehicular traffic within the existing Batangas port area. These help us in determining the existing movement of people and other elements present in the site for easier planning.
Other analyses were made as much as environmental analysis, plotting the sun and wind paths. Psychogeographic analysis was also conducted and plotted. The radius of the noise level around the site was also presented in the study for audio analysis within the site.
These would be important in the latter part of the design phases to determine the flow of spaces within the Dagasa International Port.
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats were also thought of. First, we start with the strengths of the site based on our analysis.
The site is accessible to different provinces and has a wide access to public transportation and nearby terminals around the site.
It is accessible to Batangas Port through Skyway, SLEX, Starlink, and Star.
The Port of Batangas can help ease congestion at the Port of Manila, and it serves as an alternative international gateway for shippers based in Calabarzon.
It is the country's largest domestic port in terms of passenger traffic, and it serves as the primary trade gateway between mainland Luzon and Mimaropa, while acting as an important staging area for container-based domestic trade between Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
As for the weaknesses, first, the existing site and port has minimal commercial spaces on the port and has less spaces for waiting and boarding passengers.
The site has less space for personnel and lacks of access roads to the international ports due to traffic congestion.
Truck ban alleviates traffic congestion, causing disruption in chain movements.
For the opportunities present in the site has existing vegetation that can be suitable for land development.
The site has huge spaces available to accommodate different commercial and non-commercial spaces.
presence of existing nearby facilities.
Its wide lot area could be an opportunity to develop an urban waterfront.
The site has a relatively flat surface, which can provide convenience in planning and construction development.
Lastly, for the threats, the site is prone to natural disasters, such as storm surges or earthquakes.
As for the SWOT strategies, by turning the weaknesses into opportunities that we could integrate and learn more towards their design phase, and as much as possible, create a resilient structure that could deal with the natural disasters or even the man-made ones.
We can create an interesting space so that people would be encouraged to use the seaports, capitalizing on the vista views, and create an eye-catching yet harmonious structure to the site that could house commercial spaces, ample passenger waiting areas, and spaces for personnel.
Adding more vegetation or landscaping to buffer noise from the surrounding noise pollution, and thus these strategies may allow more ample accessibility strategies in and out of the site.
Just like the Batangueño word, Dagasa, this is the fast-paced yet graceful movement, just like the movement of water.
Our goal is to design and conceptualize a seaport which prioritizes movement and design through humans and automobiles or ships and etc.
With this redesign proposal for Batangas Seaport, Dagasa's goal is to accommodate small and large vessels, introduce various spaces that promote culture in the area, areas accessible to everyone to rouse the interest of the people visiting the port, and address all the design considerations mentioned.
This project will focus on these four key objectives in order to develop the existing seaport infrastructure into more globally competitive design terminal, considering its sustainability, connectivity, and convenience for the people.
First, function. To redesign the Batangas port and accommodate and introduce innovative spaces in the area through architecture.
Second, character. Utilize and use advantage of the previous analysis in Batangas port area.
Third, experience. Create an environment that enhances the experience true to the Batangas culture.
Fourth, aesthetics. Create a structure that is both unique yet faithfully local to the area's surroundings.
Our design objectives revolves around the redevelopment of the site in response to new normal by providing more open spaces to promote safe distancing.
Reconnecting the sea to the neighboring towns by providing more public spaces and facilities at the port area, and using vernacular materials to promote the area.
To integrate a climate-responsive design, maximizing sun path, promoting natural lighting.
Next, we plan to dedicate spaces for passengers and personnel by providing ample shades and commercial and even non-commercial spaces in the port.
Next, we introduce our design considerations, namely natural ventilation, health and safety abiding designs, accessible design considerations, environmental sustainability, and lastly, the layout and composition of spaces within the new seaport of Batangas.
The concept behind the Dagasa started with the idea of utilizing the site soundscapes to strengthen the relationship between the people and their surroundings.
The composition is based on the sound waves from the port's sea waves and its neighboring town, which provide a site-specific character to the design. With the idea of combining the morphologies, it allows the structure to reflect how the design can blur the boundaries between the sea and the city.
Photocatalytic concrete is used as part of the innovative materials to utilize in Dagasa International Port. According to research, this is a self-cleaning concrete material coated with titanium dioxide, which can help remove air pollutants while providing clean air in the town.
We will also use fiber-reinforced polymer due to its high-strength materiality as compared to traditional materials. It also has efficient characteristics such as corrosion resistance, UV resistance, and thermal mechanical properties.
Fiber-reinforced polymer can also be used as a structural domain because of its capacity to withhold weight. It can be used as a structural member in retaining walls and bridge desks.
To add character and texture with sensibility in our interiors, we will use sawali, a type of traditional woven split bamboo mats used as walls, paneling, or wall cladding in the Philippines. This promotes airflow when placed into the right spaces and use of vernacular materials.
And lastly, low E-glass insulating and UV protection and does not retain much condensation.
Focusing on the idea of the soundscapes, being a multi-layered single field of recording could already bring a lot of context about the site.
Integrating the site's soundscape to the composition, the form was conceptualized by combining the morphological structure of the sound waves from the sea and the city.
Incorporated with a series of curves representing the change in the wavelength of the sound waves, it also gives definition to the exteriority of the structure.
Atelier A arrived at the classification of the required spaces, which are deemed suitable for the proposed Batangas port building, which is shown through a space matrix diagram.
This diagram shows the primary, secondary, and undesired adjacency of the proposed spaces within the proposed Batangas port.
The space matrix puts emphasis on the easy access of ingress and egress of passengers for the floor plan. This is to mitigate the possibility of contagious disease such as COVID-19 and to create an efficient foot traffic within the port area.
Bubble diagrams are essential for the planners to determine the essential spaces needed for the proposal of the Batangas port.
In this bubble diagram, the researchers illustrate the relationship between different spaces. This space planning gives opportunities for open and semi-open spaces to minimize contact and promote social safe distancing in compliance to the IATF guidelines.
Other spaces would be further elaborated as the design phase progresses.
Presented hereinafter are the floor plans for the newly proposed Dagasa Batangas International Port. As seen in the site development plan, we propose to have two structures. First, we have the Dagasa port area, and we have the Dagasa hotel and accommodations.
The Dagasa port area is composed of 2 floors. For the ground floor, we have a total of 20 spaces dedicated to accommodate the boarding passengers and unboarding passengers from the RORO area.
One of the main features of the ground floor area is the semi-open lounge area for additional seating, and this area allows natural air to flow through inside the spaces of the Dagasa as part of our natural ventilation strategy.
Another main feature of the ground floor plan are the sanitation areas, strategically placed in entry points that have high exposure, adding ample open spaces.
These are included in the new plans as part of the pandemic resilience strategies.
Meanwhile, the Dagasa hotel and accommodations is connected to the second floor area of Dagasa International Port. It is composed of 3 floors, the ground terminal area, entertainment floor, and lastly the capsule hotel.
The Dagasa Hotel and Accommodation offers the capsule hotel the advantage that they are small and people put their belongings in lockers, which ensures that all rooms in the hotel remain fairly clean, which separates the Dagasa Hotel and Accommodations from the rest.
All of the spaces and the floor plans were conceived under the requirements of the following: National Building Codes PD 1096, Fire Code of the Philippines RA 9514, the Philippine Green Building Code, Plumbing Code of the Philippines, IATF Guidelines, and lastly Batangas City Ordinances.
Transportation planning is crucial anywhere in the world because it serves the area economically, socially, and improves quality of life for the people. We believe that by improving the transport system, starting by redesigning and rethinking the programs of our terminals, like our seaports for example, we are able to take the biggest step ahead in improving our nation as a whole, just like how we envision Dagasa, Batangas' new international port.